In this week's episode, we talk about social media and video. Why is it important in our industry? Stay tuned. Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year.
Right? So today's topic is video and social media, and it's weird, when I was reading video and social media, I was kind of putting it together, but I feel like they're two different things now.
Big time.
Right?
Yep, I was getting the same.
Okay, so, and, you know, we really come from a background of real estate, so a lot of our conversation has to do with real estate when we're talking about video and social media. And, I think I'll just start with, I think overall the agents have gotten a great perspective on social media, that people are starting to use it. We're seeing it more often within our industry, and that's a little bit, agents are the real estate community is keeping up with that. But with regard to video, I feel like we're still way behind, even though it's been talked about for years.
Still the fear factor with it. You know?
Right. Do you think it's a fear factor?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know if I'd call it a fear factor so much. I might call it, I don't know, maybe we're getting used to technology. Part of it is fear. I mean, we do hear it all the time. I don't like the way I look on camera. And you're right. You look different on camera than you do in person. That was a joke.
People feel that way.
Yes.
It may be a joke, but
So what's your intro, or what's your take on, you want to talk video, you want to talk social media, you want to talk both?
you know, as much as we talk about them being separate, I mean, in a lot of ways they certainly touch and
Correct.
are interconnected. But let's go with video.
Okay.
I think it's right here. It's right now. It's super important, and I think it needs to be a part of every agent's business.
So I'll start with some numbers, because I know everybody likes stats. So 2022, 87%, this is just based on consumers, 87% of online activity is going to be video, or looked on, the consumers going video. Those are the projections going into 2022. This fact I found very interesting, and 96%, so basically almost 100% of the consumer market increase their video usage. So it's going this way. It's not going down. It's not staying flat. It's not plateauing. That almost everybody out there has increased the amount of video that they're watching.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, when we look at real estate and we look at the numbers of agents that are actually using video, and it's used in a couple of different ways. You know, we take video from a property, you know, looking at it from showing properties and things like that, versus actually being on video like we are talking about real estate. And real estate agents, we are just over 30% of the agents actually use video.
Wow.
Right? And I get it, because the people that are using video, they're already saying, it feels like it's all saturated already, and I see it all the time. And I feel like, well, that's because they're looking for it. It's almost like, hey, I want to go buy that new blue whatever car, and all of a sudden I'm seeing it all over the road. It's kind of because it's top of mind. But in reality, the amount of people in our industry really truly using video compared to the growth that it's experiencing overall is still extremely small.
Yeah, and saturation, I don't think that's an issue.
Right.
It really doesn't mean a lot.
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter how many people are using it, how prevalent it is, how much information is out there.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a presence.
Right.
And you can brand and market all the time, regardless. You know, real estate's hyper local. People want to find you. I see something about you. I put things on your porch, and you're like, boy, honey, we really need to move to Austin. Let's get ready to sell this house. Well, Travis puts all that stuff on our porch. Well, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Call Travis.
Well, you're going to go to the internet probably and say, let's make sure this is who we think he is.
Right.
And so you need that presence, and that presence better include video. Otherwise, you're going to look antiquated.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting point that you bring up, that not only are people looking up what we're putting online, but they're also validating who we are.
Absolutely. And they've been doing that forever.
Yes.
Is that the first thing you do? Who is this person?
Yep.
Tip, 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 tip. You want to see.
And any major purchase we make now, and even minor purchases, we're investigating, we're seeing what's up, whether we're reading
Mhm.
reviews or trying to figure out the product or figure out the person behind it, whatever the case may be. The first place we're going is online, and if there's nothing there, um, that's almost worse than bad things being there. Actually,
I would argue both of them are not
Yeah.
a good thing.
But I look at one of the other things that I looked at, because in mentioning videos, and you know, we hear the excuse all the time of, well, I don't like the way I look, but one of the things we also hear as well, everybody's doing it, and we're, you know, it's already happening. So before this episode, I just went online and I did a YouTube search of, we live in Irvine, so I did a YouTube search of market update in Irvine.
Oh, okay.
So only 15 videos popped up, and it was really spread amongst about 6 people.
Oh, wow.
So when you look at it from that perspective, the number of real estate agents that are here in Irvine are in the thousands. But when I look something up online where we should be present, it's only half a dozen. So it's still got plenty of room to grow. And I'd argue that we're spending so much time, energy, and effort at the front door, or on the front door steps, or in the mailbox, the traditional ways, that we aren't spending enough time here. And we've been talking about this for years. I mean, you know, you mentioned to me earlier, Tom Ferry he's been talking about this for, I'm going to say, it feels like 10 years. Video. You know, I don't know. We're just dense. We're slow.
Well, let's see. 2007, the iPhone came out.
Yep.
So about 14 years it's been on the rise. 'Cause
Well,
that's what enabled it.
how about prior to that? You remember the what was that thing called? It was like a little white camera.
Yeah, I had it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I had it in my head just a second ago, but we all had them.
Right. And that's what we were walking.
What a nightmare.
around
And then
with.
you had to come home back. And then you had to transfer it over to your computer. And that took 20 minutes. And then, boy, uploading it onto YouTube was just a nightmare. You might as well just
Exactly.
leave it overnight.
Then the
And now it's
GoPro-
like,
GoPro came out after, I believe, after that. But you know, that's we pulled one of those out right now, people might laugh at us and say,
we should.
yeah.
You could just have the progression of technology.
Some of our younger ages might not even know what that is. Be kind of like an album.
What? Look at us. We've already forgotten the name of it. I know I had one.
It'll come back to me.
It was a public company, I think. And
Yeah.
I think they're gone.
I think they are as well. But so video.
Yes.
What should I do a video on?
So I was thinking about this. I think that what you should begin with is, what do I do day to day? And more specifically, what do I do day to day in interactions with prospects and my clients? So what are they asking you, right?
Right.
Well, you know, we got to do this home inspection. How does that work? Boom, video. Hey, you know, we got this termite. You know, what's the best way to do this? Boom, video. All day long. Marketing, branding, transactional questions. Those are fantastic. I think that most of what I go online for is instruction or education. You know,
Right.
inform me. I need to know. Hey, what's Proposition 19? I need to know.
Correct.
Well, there you go. There's another video, real estate related. And now I look for short videos. I don't want to get tied up in anything over about 5 minutes.
Right.
And so when you do those types of videos, I would suggest short format. There are times for longer, but that's where I would start. I would start building a catalog of information.
Basically, if somebody's asked you the question and more than one person has asked you the question, there's more people out there that want to know that answer. You know, and one of the things that I look at is a quick reverse search, because Google will tell us, what are people searching? You know,
Oh, there you go. There are your topics.
Yeah, I put in particular community and what are the people, what's the most popular search for this, you know, what phrases are being searched in this particular area. And there are your topics, you know, figure out which ones of those are somehow real estate related, and boom.
Yeah. Then you got your property videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you should be doing that for all your own videos for sure.
Right.
Maybe you have a series,
Mm-hmm.
Home of the Week.
Right.
You know, hey, I work the east side of Costa Mesa, and here's this week's
Right.
featured property. And you go and you film a property and put it out there. and be consistent about it.
You have your home of the week. You have your community of the week. You have your feature within the community of the week. You have your restaurant of the week. Your, support local. There's so many different things. Best hiking trails in Orange County. Best hiking trails in wherever it is that you happen to be. Best beaches for us.
Local restaurants, local stores, support local.
Right.
What's
And-
it that people love about Irvine?
They don't have to be long. You mentioned it earlier. It's like it doesn't have to be a 15-minute production or a 20-minute production video. I mean, right now, one of the biggest things going on in video is with TikTok and Instagram with the Reels and now Shorts on YouTube is that 60 seconds and less. What message can you? It's almost like a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the end of the day, those are really what those
Yeah.
things are.
And I'll tell you, once you get into video and once you start committing to it, it's not, how am I going to talk for that long?
Mhm.
It's like, how am I going to compress this
Compress
down
it.
into the time I need to?
Exactly.
So it's funny how that, it starts out,
Right.
oh, how am I going to get there? And then it becomes the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so social media, how would you tie social media into this?
Well, I mean, you've got TikTok and you've got Reels, and those are tied right in to the
Mhm.
social media. So those
Yeah.
happen. But I think, how would I tie it in? What would I do with social media, or how would I use it with
Correct.
video? Or
Yeah, so for me, I think one of the most important platforms right now are YouTube. That
Mhm.
YouTube is
underutilized.
it's underutilized, and which is interesting. It's underutilized in our industry. It's been used forever, but when I look at social media, is now video, and social media is the object that we're using
Mm-hmm.
to publicize our videos,
Got it.
to
Yeah.
promote, to push out, to make sure it's getting in front of people. Whether or not you're embedding that link into a Facebook or a LinkedIn
Yeah.
or putting a video on there, which that's a whole different subject of, hey, do I make a new video for Facebook versus dropping the link in there and things like that,
Mhm.
and which one's going to get me more? I think that's an entirely different conversation. But for me, I look at social media as a way to distribute the content that's going
Gotcha.
out now.
Yeah, I think with social media, extraordinarily important. It's important as video. Everybody's on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there are two avenues in my mind that you want. You want one that says, hey, I'm a realtor, without being, too obnoxious about it. And another saying, hey, here's who I am.
Right.
It's got to be a little personality to it.
Mhm.
And if you commit to that every week and having, regular posts on those things,
Right.
I think you're getting off on a great start.
Okay.
And then people will get crazy with it and go all sorts of directions.
It's all
And I
good.
encourage that.
I paused a little bit because I heard Pete in the background.
That's all right.
Yeah, I was giving it
No problem with the
I was-
work of the office
I was
going
giving
on.
it a second to see which direction it was going in. I a little bit of my ADD in me, but see, I totally lost where I was at.
We were talking about social media, and I suggested that you need to let people know you're a realtor
Oh yes.
and that you're who you are as a person.
So my thought on that is, how can that be done? A lot of people in our industry, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. And you don't have to be.
Mm-mm.
It's as simple as, hey, are you wearing that shirt with the logo on? Is that glass in the camera that shows real estate? Are you wearing that name badge? Are you wearing a pin? Is there something? Do you have a hat that says the company that you work for? Whatever the case may be. And that is giving the message of what you do. And then it becomes more about who you are. And I agree. People want to know who we are. And I think so much, one of the biggest things that I see online is people trying to be something that they're not.
Yep.
Hey, if you're snarky, you got to be snarky online. If you are a jokester, you got to be a jokester. And the opposite. If you're not a jokester, don't
Yeah.
try to be online.
No,
Yeah, it just won't
see
work.
through it every time.
Exactly. So it's more about being authentic in who you are and making sure that you're staying in that realm.
Absolutely.
All right. What else did we want to share today? I think I've got all my points out. So
Yeah, just get into it. Tip your toe into it.
okay.
And this is what's funny. Actually, I was thinking about this in preparation. I thought, Nestor's probably thinking in his mind when he says, Travis, what should you start with? And you're probably thinking, a plan, right? That's what I always say, a plan. And actually with social media and video, you don't need a plan.
Nope.
You just need to do it and then build yourself into a plan. I think that's more important.
Right.
Because people have apprehensions about social media. I still am. And before I hit that post, I'm usually going to my kids or my wife. I'm like, okay, am I good here? What am I missing? And I have a fear of hitting post. And of course, videos people, just a little nervous with of sending out. When you put a plan together to do that, it can seem very daunting. And so I will say, when you get into social media and video, I encourage you just to stick your toe in, check it out, start doing some regular things, find some content. Like Liz sends out great content every Monday. It's plug and play.
Right.
Do that, get that meme up. Shows you're a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
And then find a way to show who you are as a person. And I know it's tough. I struggle with that all the time.
Right.
I'd love to post more. And I'll have someone around like Kenny Young. And he could point out like 30 different things that I could be posting that make total sense. And I was oblivious to them all, So we all got that challenge. But we can all do something. We can all get started. And then I think once you do it, it does start to open your eyes and give you the ability to grow into something more than you thought you could do when you started.
Right. So, it's funny because I look at when I do agree we should have a plan, but when it comes to video and social media, I think the plan is really more of, hey, what topics am I making my list of different things that I can talk about, that I can pull from. But I like the concept of a balance of polished versus unpolished.
Yes.
I feel like everybody should have some polished stuff online, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case may be, that some of your videos should be polished, planned out, have some understanding or meaning behind them. And then there are those videos that, hey, this is interesting. Let's just do it right now and see what happens. We were talking yesterday, and when we were talking about Michelle, and she was prepping a property, and she had put a chair there with a trash can for the booties. Now, for me, well, it's obvious. The trash can is for the used booties that go in there, and she goes back to the property 24 hours later, and there's not one booty in the trash can, and there's a sea of used booties all over the floor. And I sat there and I thought, that would be an interesting video if you got that in slow motion, to just watch the people and see what people are thinking of. Did they look at the trash can? Did they not notice it? Kind of what happened there? Because it's easy for me because I see it, but were people just missing it? Were people just not paying attention? Kind of what story developed there? And could that be a video? Yeah. Could it be a funny video?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but that's we just kind of have to be ready sometimes, and sometimes just let something roll and see what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sweet. Anything in closing?
Go get it. Put your toe in.
Make a video. So, and you mentioned earlier, equipment. Easy now. So we're using, microphones. These things I love. I don't know if you the Rode wireless mics. I think they were like 150. Is that right, Liz? Somewhere around there? Okay. And they connect to your phone. They'll connect to a camera. They'll connect to pretty much anything. And we've used them outdoors. We've used them indoors. Absolutely love these things as probably one of the best investments that we.
Yeah, I'd say all you really need is your phone.
Correct.
If you're like, hey, I'm gonna start this, see how it goes, you could use your phone. But I'll agree. One of the first things you can do is go for the microphone. And I just went online, and actually I was a little hesitant because it was one of those ads that it seems like, oh man, am I getting pulled in here on some sort of scam? But I got, for I think it's around $45, a really great mic. And you said, well, test it, see what it sounds like. And I did that. It is amazing the difference it makes and the quality of the sound. So yeah, I'd say after your phone, look at a microphone. It does make a big difference.
Other than that, really don't need much more.
No, to start. And if you're like Nestor and I, within a few months, a year, you're going to have a whole nest of tools that you've tried and don't use anymore, and new ones that you do. It's like, my goodness.
Yes. If you check eBay, you'll find some of our last purchase.
Lightly used.
Yeah, so tried it, didn't like it, so we moved on. But anyway, thank you guys very much. Hopefully, we're bringing you value, and if you feel like we're bringing you value, I believe it's the like and subscribe, and look forward to seeing you again.
Yes.
All right.
Pleasure.